G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 7 of my Lightning Eye of Reckoning Archon playthrough. We are starting out this episode in Grimtools, because last episode I had 2 devotion points, and I didn't really know where I was going to put them. And as I don't currently have a proper plan, I guess, for this leveling build, I figured we'd kind of do it together. So this is similar or very close to the process that I go through if I'm actually trying to make a plan for a character. And the first thing you want to do is have some idea of what you're going to be doing. You want your main attack skill, you want a damage type, and from there you can choose what masteries you're going to do. Now, obviously, this is a Lightning Eye of Reckoning kind of build. So let's go ahead and make this a shaman, and well, actually, we don't even need shaman just yet. I am doing an Archon, so I will need shaman, but the first thing that's important to do is your main attack skill. And you're going to want to max this out. Now, maybe this will be different once you have items with skill points. You might be using items that grant you plus 12 to Eye of Reckoning, so actually you only need 14 points there. Just ignore that for now. You want your main attack skill. And then there's the stuff that you kind of take whenever you have an Oathkeeper, right? So I like 1 point Tectonic Shift, 1 point Vaya's Might, just as a movement skill. 1 point here, and max out Celestial Presence. This is the Guardians, and this is the Elemental Resist Shred. So I know I'm doing Lightning, so I need to get whatever sources of Elemental and or Lightning resistant shredding I can get my hands on. The other good things to have is just 1 point at least, probably more, but just for now, 1 point in Presence of Virtue. You're going to want at least 1 point in Resilience, and let's say we're going to max out Ascension and 1 point there. This is kind of what I would consider the bare bones of an Eye of Reckoning Oathkeeper. And we've already decided we're going with Archon. Now, I went with Archon specifically because of Wind Devils, so let's go ahead and chuck all these points in. And I know that I want as much elemental resistance shredding as I can get, so I'm going to take max points in Raging Tempest. And I'm going to put 1 point in Maelstrom, just kind of because. Now, if I was doing a two-handed build, which I'm not, I would be looking at something like Brute Force. I would not be doing these because we are not using a default attack replacer. These both say that they activate off default weapon attacks, so we can't trigger them. And we're not using a two-hander, so this isn't relevant. The Wendigo Totem will provide you with life sustain through attack damage converted to health. It also just straight up heals you if you're standing near it and there's an enemy in the area. But because of the build, we would have to stop spinning to cast this, and it would also limit the area that we could move in. So you could just do 1 and 1. I'm going to skip this one. The other thing is that the Divine Mandate or Path of the Three choice here is not very good for a Lightning build. However, Stormcaller's Pact for a Lightning build is really good, so we're going to take max points in that. Primal Bond is okay. The damage absorption and less damage from beasts on that is quite good, but the rest of it doesn't really matter. We're not doing an actual pet build. Wind Devils and Guardians are not actually pets, despite what they look like and how they act. So we're not really going to be interested in Primal Bond. You could take it over Stormcaller's Pact, especially if you're playing hardcore. That damage absorption, 12 points here gets you 15% damage absorption, and also 18% less damage from beasts. That's pretty good, but we're going to take Stormcaller's Pact. The other things that are really good to get for any shaman is Mogdrogan's Pact. And again, at this point, I'm probably going to want to max this out. I'm probably going to want to max this out and max this out as well. This whole line is really, really good. But it doesn't really matter for making the plan. So I'm just going to put the bare minimums in, and then we can mess with skill points later. So the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get a devotion plan together, and I need to know what skills I'm going to have, and maybe I need to take an extra skill to proc a devotion, But for right now, these are the skills that I want. Okay. From Shaman, I have the Wind Devils, which are Cast and Forget. I have buffs, and that's it. And then from Oathkeeper, I have my main skill, which is a channeled skill. And the reason why I'm only really looking at passives and buffs and such here is every time I need to cast another spell, I stop using my main attack. So I want to limit that as much as I can. Movement skill, you use this to get around, you're not using this in a fight. Or maybe you are, but you're not trying to do damage at that point, you're trying to get out of some sort of goop on the floor, or you're trying to dodge an attack perhaps. Passive pets that just always work. This is a buff, this is a buff, and this is also a buff. You do have to push the button for it, but you don't have to stop channeling to cast this. So that's kind of what I'm going for in the skills. Then in devotions, actually before we get to devotions, there's a setting I want to check here. I want to make sure that ignore devotion requirements is currently checked, because what this allows me to do is it allows me to zoom out and kind of go, okay, what do I want from here? Well, we're playing a lightning build, so I want the Widow, and having that box checked just allows me to put the Widow in. I don't have to look at this and go, well, I need 6 green and 4 blue, how am I going to get that? I can just put this in and say, all right, I want the Widow, done. Same with Elemental Storm. This one's going to do elemental resistance shredding, and this one doesn't stack. So I could, instead of Rowan's Crown, I could tip the scales over here. This does 20 reduced targets resistances. I could instead do Raise the Dead. This one goes up to 24. I could do, where's Manticore? I could do Acid Spray here on Manticore. That goes up to 28. But this one's the best for Elemental. It does 32. So in a perfect world, I want Elemental Storm, and I don't want any of the other ones that don't stack with this. However, if we get to the end of this, and I, for example, have a bunch of red points, and I don't have any green points, then maybe I have to take Raise the Dead instead of Elemental Storm. This would, however, present me a problem, because Arcane Bomb has to go on Eye of Reckoning. If I have Elemental Storm, it can go on the Wind Devils, it can go on the Guardians of Empyrean, but if you look here, because this is summoning a pet, this one would have to go on Vaya's Might, which means I now have to use this in combat and stop channeling in order to use these. So I really don't want this. Maybe I'll have to use it. We'll see how we go. So, other things that I want. I have the 2 kind of mandatory things that I consider you absolutely have to do this. If you're playing a lightning build, you must have the Widow, and you must have Rowan's Crown or one of the other ones that shred resistances. Pretty much any build you're going to want whatever specific type of resistance shred you get. So if you're doing fire, you need to get Eldritch Fire from Soleil's Witchblade. If you're doing cold, you have to get Rumor here. I consider these mandatory. And then you also need to get the second type of resist reduction, either Elemental Storm, Scales of Volkarma, so tip the scales there. You have the Raise the Dead here, or you have the Acid Spray here. If you're doing pets, you can use Bismael's Command here. This pet will shred resistances as well. And there might be another one I'm not remembering at the moment. But you have to have those 2 things. The Widow and Elemental Storm, or one of the others that don't stack with it. From here, the next thing I'm looking for is Tier 3 constellations. And for Lightning, you're probably looking at either Spear of the Heavens or Altos. Now, maybe you could do something like, not Attack Saru, it's going to be Blind Sage here. These Elemental Seekers can be quite good. I'm not going to get into the elemental type things. I'm just going to stick with the basics. And I want Spear of the Heavens ideally. I'd like to get both, but I've played with this a little bit before I started recording, and yeah, good luck. You're not getting both. So I'm going to say I want Spear of Heavens, because Altos down here requires a crit for starters, which I might not have the ability to reliably trigger this during the leveling process. And also it needs another attack. We've already got this one over here on the Guardians. This one, however, is when you get hit. So you can chuck this on pretty much any of these. I'm going to put it on Stormcaller's Pact and call that done. Now the next thing I want is another attack that I can put onto my other pet. And you could do Hand of Altos, I think. Yeah, I could put that onto Wind Devils. But like I said, you're not going to get both of these. You could do Tsunami, which is a lightning/cold. This one comes with Fumble and Impaired Aim. It's not bad. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. So we could do that. But I want to do this one here. I want Reckless Tempest. Now this one is, again, requires a crit. So it's not great. But the damage is quite nice. And I like how it looks too. Also, it's absolutely, indisputably a lightning constellation. So I've got my two devotions that I'm putting on the pets. I've got my one devotion that's going on my main attack skill. I don't have any other attack skills to use except maybe Vaya's Might, which I don't want to use during a fight. So let's say that that's all of my offensive procs that I'm going to go for. Now I want to look at things like, how am I going to survive? And my usual go-to is the turtle. Or the tortoise, rather. The turtle shell. For some reason, tortoises have turtle shells instead of tortoise shells, but anyway. So I'm going to put that on another buff, and this is a circuit breaker. You want this on something that's always active. Don't put it on Ascension. Don't put it on Resilience. You want this always available. So that's going on Mogdrogan's Pact. The other ones I was considering is the Ghoul here. This is another circuit breaker. I like to have either one or both of these in each build, in every build that I do. And then the other thing I want to do is I want this one if I can get it. And I already know that I can. Wayward Soul here is a heal that will heal you every 8 seconds for 12% plus another 1500. But the real value here is that 460 armor. Now, obviously, this is going to be at max level. It's not going to start out at 460 armor. But 460 armor is a huge amount of armor to have active most of the time. So if you can get any kind of cooldown reduction from anywhere, then potentially you can just have this active all the time. This build probably won't have that, but it's something to think about. And this is also something that I want on permanently. Now I've got 19 points left, and probably about here is where I want to start looking at, well, what do I need to actually get this? Now I need 7 red here, I need no red here. Okay, so I need to get 7 red. I've already got 2 from the devotions that I've completed. Where are they coming from? Oh, there we go, Chariot of the Dead. Okay, so I've already got 2 there. I need 5 more. And I happen to know that the Vulture is good sort of generic stats. Takes 5 points and it gives you 5 red. Well, there's my 7 red for the Spear of the Heavens. Now I also need another 13 blue. And some really good blue devotions is the Eel. This is a defensive devotion. Defensive ability, 2% chance to avoid attacks, 2% chance to avoid projectiles, but mostly this is 5 points of blue in exchange for 3 devotion points. It's really, really good in terms of efficiency. So now I need 8 more. Now I could go for 2 of the 4 pointers, but I'm actually going to have 1 extra. So I'm going to take these. I'm going to take the Hound, and I'm going to take the Sailor's Guide. And that gets me to 21, which is 1 more than I need, so we're looking good. Now I need purple over there, I need purple here, and I need a couple green as well. So to get my purple, I could take the Empty Throne, that's always a good bet. That would get me up to 6 purple. I need 4, I need 5. What's the other one? I need 5. Okay, so I actually only need 4 points, and I have 1. So I'm going to take the Toad, because the Toad actually gives me lifesteal as well. It's only 3%, but it is a little bit extra. This damage to beasts is really nice, because when Kubicabra jumps out from every kind of bush later on, and you know he will, we'll do more damage to him. So that one's really good. And then the other thing I needed was, I'm 1 point short on purple, there we go. Alright, how else can I get my purple point? Maybe I need to drop something. We can cut that off. So that'll actually take me down to the 20 points that I needed. Alright. I lose a little bit of total speed, which I don't love. But this does get me all of the stats that I need. So I now have 5 purple, which is what I need for Chariot of the Dead. It's also what I need for Tempest. And it's what I need for Rowan's Crown, although I only need 4 for Rowan's Crown. I've got 7 of the red points, and 7 red points is what I need for Spear of the Heavens, which is the biggest one I have. More or less, I'm just going through and checking, do I have all of the colors that I need for all of my devotions? And the answer is yes. And so this is going to be the devotion page that I shoot for. Now, you can test this by going back to here and going ignore devotion requirements. Turn that off, because now we do want to check that that we can actually do it. And just try and start taking points out. And obviously, none of these are going to let you do it, except this one will. So we can take all of these points out, put them back in. It's letting us do it all. So I know that this is done. This is going to be my devotion map. I've got Elemental Storm on the Guardians. I've got Reckless Tempest here. And the other thing as well, if I find that this is too squishy, I can take points out of here. I can put them into the Ghoul. I can maybe put 2 points over here for some physical resistance and some extra healing. So there's a lot of things I can do. I don't need to have this lightning proc. It's just a nice to have thing. Lightning damage there, more lightning, more lightning. Oh, well, that one's actually not lightning. Literally the only node that doesn't give lightning. But this is kind of extra, and I can take it out if I need to. The other thing I could look at doing maybe is I have an extra point in green here. So maybe maybe I could look at trying to take these 2 points out and getting the other things I require elsewhere. Because you can have partial devotions here, so you don't need these 2 points. Same as this one here. This is 16% vitality resistance and some stun resistance. You don't need this one. Now, obviously, I'm using the green and the red points from the completed constellation, so I would have to get those points from somewhere else. But if I didn't need these 3 green and 2 red, I quite happily would take that point out. Same down here. I'm short on, what is it, green? No, it's purple. I'm short on purple, so I can't actually take this out. And I'm already using this purple point here. But if this wasn't here, I could put 1 point in here to get the purple and then take those 2 points out. But this is going to be the final devotion page, and I'm going to start working towards this. Now, if we just jump into the game here, which hopefully if I push this button, the screen will go black for a second, and yep, we're in the game. So I'm going to look at my devotion page, and I'm going to say, well, Berserker here needs an axe. So next level when I swap these, I'm also going to have to take those points out of Berserker, which means I'm going to have 4 points. The Fox here, I guess I'll do this all next level, but I'm gonna take the Toad here, and then next level I'll take these 2 out of here, and we'll get the Toad finished, and then I believe I can take these points out here. But the other thing I could do is I could just go for a complete respec and start all over. Probably I'm not going to. I'm going to take the Toad, and I'm actually going to get this next point, and maybe even hang on to the Fox for a little while. And then just respec this at a later point. Same with the Empty Throne. I'll need purple before I can get rid of this. So maybe I have to finish the Toad, and then I can take this out. But just for now, that is what we're going to do. Right. Let's actually go and kill some stuff now that we've had our daily lecture. Where were we up to? So we have to choose between Kaiman's Chosen and the Order of Death's Vigil. Now, for this particular build, I'm not planning on using any of their stuff, so it doesn't really matter. However, Kaiman's Chosen does have fire and lightning kind of items. Death's Vigil has more cold and vitality stuff, which is not damage we're doing. So I'm going to say we're going to pick Kaiman's Chosen. This doesn't matter. Their quests are very similar, and I'm not actually planning on using any of their gear, so if you prefer Death's Vigil, just take Death's Vigil and do their quests instead. It'll be fine. Like I said, we're not using any of their stuff, or at least not planning to anyway. Alright, what else we got? Nope, I think we're good to go. Put that point in for Zeke there. The other thing to note as well is we are heading into an area with heavy amounts of chaos damage, so you want to have at least 50% here. If you don't happen to have a helmet with 27% on it, one place you can get some pretty good chaos resistance is over here in Cronley's Lair. And you may have to do a couple of runs through here. I'm not going to actually do it. But you can go through here and the fire helmets and fire shoulders, or the Aether helmets or shoulders, I think one of them has Aether resistance on it. But some of those items will have the chaos res on them, and that'll be enough. The other thing you could do is you could get the potions from Isaiah Redden, and in fact I haven't checked him. I'm in town, I didn't check him for potions. He doesn't have anything I want here. Venom Fang, I don't do poison damage, I don't care. And Flame Drinker, well, elemental resist is easy to cap, so yeah, not really fussed about that one. But that's how you can get your chaos resistances up. You only probably need about 40 to 50%. More than that would be good, but you don't have to be 100% capped all the time. Did I have the quest for the lumber? Yes, I do. Okay, we're good to go. So let's finally, 20 minutes into the video, let's finally go and kill some stuff. Now all of these guys also do vitality damage, so you're going to want to have some vitality damage resistance. Also, we've just annoyed the Death's Vigil, and they are going to be attacking us, and they do a lot of cold damage as well as vitality. So you're going to want cold resistance, basically. Cold, vitality, chaos, and a little bit of poison. Let's turn the loot off so I can see what's going on. Also, damage at the moment is not amazing. So, potentially, I might have wanted to skip this totem. I didn't, but, you know, maybe. Okay, Bloodbound Ointment. This is a really good one to have. Very expensive to craft these. It's much better to just buy them. And the items here, I think we're probably okay for items at the moment. Definitely want to start hitting totems around level 35, maybe even a couple levels before that, because level 35 has a lot of blueprints that you're going to want, including all of the relics, the base relics, will start dropping for level 35. So this particular build, not so much. We're actually going to use one that we can buy from the Devil's Crossing, which I'm going to need to craft soon, actually. I can't remember if I already made it and it's sitting in my stash waiting for me, or if I have to actually go and craft it. But we'll be doing that at level 40. Yes, yes, yes. I've already killed your leader, so, you know, bow down to me and all that sort of stuff. Alright, let's sell all this, and I'll just go through quickly what I meant with these. Okay, so tinctures are very rare. The use for these is very rare. Generally speaking, I don't use them at all. We could look at something like this, the Chosen Cowl. This is going to be fire and lightning. A lot of the stuff here you're going to see, that's fire and lightning. That's lightning and physical, fire and lightning. This is not actually any kind of damage. But a lot of this is lightning, fire, that's kind of elemental. So all this stuff is kind of okay. And none of this stuff is something that I'm planning on using, so, you know, kind of who cares. The things that I do want from these guys is the components. So Haunted Steel I'll need at some point, Blessed Steel same, Blessed Whetstone, and Black Tallow is incredibly important. You want to get Black Tallow as soon as you can, and same for the Aether Soul, which I think is Rover's... no, it's Devil's Crossing. I may already have that, I can't remember. Anyway, for now we're just here to pick up the quest, and we will be on our way into the Bloodgrove. Now, if your chaos resistance is quite low, one thing you can do is rush through this area, don't fight anything, don't get the Devotion Shrine, don't fight Bolvar, don't do totems, just skip through everything, get through this area as fast as you can, and then you're going to want to go to the secret shop. Now, because we sided with Kaiman's Chosen, we can't kill their idiot followers and take the metal off of their corpse. Instead, what we can do is we can go to the secret shop and buy it from the merchant there. Now, I'm gonna do a few quests on the way through here because I already know I need this stuff. So I need 5 of the, where are they? These things. The insignias. And also I'm going to do this, even though I probably shouldn't. I'm going to do this, and you just saw my health bar massively spike, and it's because of this here. Spectral Miasma here, when you kill these guys, they explode and they put this on you, and it says it saps all your defenses. The important ones are Chaos. You'll see it's 53, if I unpause it's going to go back up to 67. Same with Vitality, this is going to go back up as soon as it wears off. Any second now. There we go, back up. So, you do want to be careful with these guys. Elixir of the Void is chaos damage. But more importantly, I've just hit level 40, which means I have some shiny new weapons to use. And we are going to go and do pretty much a complete respec. But not yet. I'm going to get through this area, and then once we get to the next Rift Gate, then I'm going to go do it. Also, I don't have any Chthonic Seals. At least not on me. I may have one in the stash. Which is kind of annoying because that Devotion Shrine there wants a Chthonic Seal. A Chthonic Seal of Binding. And I don't think I have one. We'll go have a look. But there's a decent chance that I just don't have one. Yeah. I thought maybe there might have been one dropped in Forgotten Gods while I was doing that. You can get them from treasure troves just at random. There's lots of sources for them. I haven't found one of those sources yet, apparently. These guys, anything with a yellow name here, any of the human cult members with a yellow name, so like this guy here, can drop them. Chance of them dropping is quite low, but they can drop them. Bolvar here is someone that I do need to kill. And one thing I will say with Bolvar is those guns he's shooting, they will drop when you kill him, and whatever affixes they have, he is shooting me with those affixes right now. So if he happens to get 2 really nice guns, there's a decent chance that he can just delete you from existence with these guns. Now, Void Touch to Void Fire is not amazing. Sinister of the Void, also not amazing. Sinister is the piercing stuff on that, which I don't care, but if he happened to have, you know, a triple rare Bloodsworn repeater here and it was all chaos stuff, he can do a lot of damage very quickly. Fortunately for me, his guns didn't seem to be amazing this time, but something to watch out for. Bolvar can be incredibly scary if he gets the right guns in his inventory, because, like I said, he will be shooting you with them. Alright, here's the Bloodgrove Rift, and we are going to go and do some respecking. Because we've hit level 40, we now have some nice shiny new weapons to put on. Let's go ahead and clean my inventory out. Just very, very quickly here. One thing to point out as well is Bolvar's pendant here is +1 to all Oathkeeper skills. So if this had some better resistances, I'd probably use it. I might use it anyway, actually. Let me see here, what would I lose? I'd lose a little bit of Chaos Res, but that's not going to matter here in a second. I'd lose a tiny bit of Piercing Resistance, which I don't care. Yeah, I'm just going to chuck that on. The chaos and bleeding. Where did I lose bleeding? Oh, from the wardstone, yeah. That's fine. We'll fix that. That's no problem. I'm also going to put on the Gollus ring here. Which one was it I was going to take off for this? Piercing, I don't care. Aether and Elemental. I think it's going to be the Cronley's Signet there. Alright, and then this one, yeah, it's got really nice stats on this. The crit damage is okay. My crit chance is 10%, which is actually pretty high for this point. But mostly I'm looking at all those stats, so the cunning, the health, the energy, and the 2 resistances. But I think +1 to Oathkeeper skills is the better bet there. So I'm going to actually sell that one. Same with that ring. I don't want that component back. I've got tons of those. So, yep, we'll sell that. And that +1 to Oathkeeper skills is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 skill points. This is 3 1/3 levels worth of skill points, so very, very powerful. Let's go ahead and grab my Wardstone back. Now, I don't technically need this. I want it because bleeding resistance, for sure. But I can get bleeding resistance from somewhere else, and we are decently over cap for Elemental. So I could swap that out. I'm not going to for just now, but it's something to check when you're changing gear over. Just make sure you don't have a component that's doing literally nothing for you. Alright, let's just have a quick sticky beak in here, and this is not the one I want. Actually, this is already the one that I want. Okay, awesome. So this has really been doing basically nothing. And of course I had to have it because I had 2 of these on. Alright, before I actually fully swap this, Eye of Reckoning, 3.2 to 3.5. That's a pretty big increase. And then we have the ambers that I'm going to put on there as well. The other thing to look at is this is a bunch of extra armor. How's my Aether res? Aether is fine. We're going to swap that in. How about these boots? Some physical resistance would be very, very nice. And all I lose is some Aether res. Yeah, we'll make that trade. And I want to go get my components back, obviously. Although having said that, I don't need the poison res. I do need that that scaled hide though. So keep the add-on. Let's put that back on the pants. We'll keep the add-on here. Nope, shift does not work. There we go. So Eye of Reckoning went from, what was it, 2,700 or thereabouts, and we boosted it 3.5 to almost 4,000 per hit per second, basically. We got a bunch of levels, so if we look at this weapon, it's got +3 to Soulfire. So we got +6 in Soulfire now. That's going to be a decent chunk of lightning damage, and also it's going to have increased that reduced target's damage as well. So lots of really juicy stuff there. In terms of poison res, I kind of don't need it, so I'm just going to... Actually, I'm going to melt the boots anyway. But this I'm going to put into my stash, and I'll probably forget that it exists, and then make another one later when I decide I need another one. Alright. In terms of boots, what do we got here? Mark of the Traveler is always a good bet. I should have checked before I put it on, but yes, we are not at the maximum for run speed, so that is worth doing. What other slots do we have available? I need a ring. Now, I'm going to put soul shards on here for that vitality resistance. If you're running out of energy constantly, you could put another ectoplasm here. I like soul shards just to make vitality resistance easy. And I think otherwise we're pretty much good to go. Now, the other thing I want to do at this point is I want to do a little bit of shopping. And I'm not going to do this a lot. I just want to get one of the medals. Now, if you can get a really good medal, great, but don't stress about it because we'll be replacing it. Maybe not super quickly, but we will be replacing it. You're not going to use a level 40 medal all the way to 100. Usually. It does happen. Okay, so Benevold here. This is the Bloodgrove secret shop you hear people talk about. You run down here, this little spiky bit, you run up there, underneath the bridge, and up here. And Benevold will sell you various monster infrequents. So you have Bloodsworn Scepters, you have Spectral Longswords, Bone Scythe, Troll Bone Crusher. You've got some guns, and then this is what I'm here for, not the Skeleton Key, but these medals are what I'm here for. Stalwart of Scorched Runes. We are doing 100% fire damage now. If you mouse over this, or 100% lightning, sorry. If you mouse over this, we've got 3 to 3,500 lightning damage, and actually, surprisingly, a small amount of fire damage. Where is that fire damage coming from? I'm not 100% sure. We've got some flat fire damage from somewhere. Anyway, it's on there somewhere. So it's actually not 100% lightning damage, but it's majority, which is what we're aiming for. These badges here, you'll notice they both have chaos resistance on them, and that comes as part of the Kaiman's badge. So I want to get something here that has decent resistances, and I think it's going to be this one. This is good enough. You don't need Scorched Runes, you don't need Scorched Ends, you don't need Impervious. Stalwart, that's going to be the health and, I think, the defensive ability there. Maybe the less requirements for weapons. Nope, that comes baked in. But Stalwart of Scorched Runes is fine. The other thing you want to note is this is going to cost me 112,000 bits. That's a quarter of my net wealth. So don't go buying heaps of these. But I'm going to get one of those. I'm going to chuck it on there. And I just traded out 25% poison resist, 18% pierce resist, and 7% chaos res in exchange for elemental chaos and pierce. And then, honestly, the damage on this, I don't really care. The health and defensive ability is nice though. And I will want to go and get my component back. And one thing you will notice as well when you make the swap over to these weapons is the damage is going to be a little bit nutty. So let's go kill some stuff. I do need to go back into the Blood Grove. I want that Devotion Shrine, but that means I need to get my hands on some Chthonic Seals of Binding, which means I need to kill cult members, which are actually better to kill over there. But this is fine, we can kill some cult members in this section, and hopefully they're going to drop us at least one Chthonic Seal. I need 4 of them, because the quest for the Kaiman's Chosen is going to need 3, and then I need 1 for that Devotion Shrine. Very unlikely I'm going to get 4 in this section, but he should drop 1. He didn't, but he should. Yeah, no, he definitely didn't drop 1. That's fine. We'll just keep killing these idiots, and eventually one of them will drop. Or, probably the better response, actually. Yeah, let's just do that. We'll just head for the Graver's Mill. There's some stuff out there to kill. There's a whole village full of these idiots just to the north. And one of them will drop 1. Surely. Copium. So we've got that lightning proc on one of these weapons. Just saw the lightning bolt there, which is really cool. It's going to be triggering semi-regularly. What's the cooldown on it, actually? Nope, this one. Lightning bolt, 2.5 seconds. It's only got a chance when you hit things, but, hey, extra damage is extra damage. And it's lightning damage, which is good. Alright, we can go through these idiots. I do want to hit that totem. This area, anyone who knows me knows that I love this area for totems, second only to Gloomwald. Let's turn the loot off so I can see what's going on. And watching my health bar. Was that a Blood of Chthon? I think it was. Alright. So, yep, got a blood, which is... yeah, it's alright, I guess. And like I said, we're getting a lot of blueprints for relics. I think... was it this character or another one? I think I have the upgrade for the Bladesworn Talisman. I can't remember if it's on this character or another one, though. Which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. Alright, let's go clear out the mill here. And obviously, a lot of this stuff here, these guys with the fancy names have a pretty good chance of dropping... There's my seal. Okay. So I've got my seal. I've got 1. I need 4, but I've got 1. 1 is important, 4 is better. Let's go get the... see you. So this guy being an actual Chthonic rather than just a cult member, he's more likely to drop a blood rather than a seal. But all of this stuff is worth killing, because they all drop XP. And some of them drop iron bits as well. Alright, back down this way. Let's get the mill done. There is also another devotion shrine probably down this way. Actually, let's go over there. Why not? I like shrines. Everybody likes shrines. Why can I not whirl through rocks? What do you mean Eye of Reckoning doesn't allow me to break the laws of physics? Why not? Okay, if you get down to this section here, you'll note this is another little spiky bit on the map here. You can actually walk behind the waterfall. Cliche, I know. Into the Shrine of the Forgotten God here. Now, there's no totem here, so... actually, I already know where the other totem that could be here is, because I did it earlier. But... one thing you can find, if you run all the way down here, is a statue of someone using 2 shields. And everywhere you see one of these statues, there will be a little container at its feet, and you will get the totally normal, some sort of shield. This one is an occultist shield with skill points in Counter-Strike. There are 6 of these. In normal or veteran difficulty, they will all be level 50. In elite difficulty, they will all be level 75. And in ultimate difficulty, they will all be level 94. So if you know where these are, you can make a build around them because they are 100% guaranteed. The first time you come here, you will get this exact shield if you open those that urn. So you can make a build around them. I actually wanted both of those. Yeah, just some really cool weapons. And do note that this is a weapon. If you look at the top there, legendary one-handed mace. But it looks like a shield. So that's how you can dual-wield shields if that's something you want to do. It does look cool. Can be effective. not guaranteed. They all have +1 to one of the masteries as well. I want to say actually a couple of them at least have +1 to 2 masteries, but don't quote me on that. I haven't really looked into them. It may be the ultimate version has that. Okay, resistances are shredded because I killed a couple of bloodletters there. Totem potentially here. But I've actually done all of the totems in this area. So let's head up to the village and we can fight Zaria. Now, Chaos Res is now capped, but it's not that capped. It's only 7% over. So if I run into one of those bloodletters, there is a pretty good chance that it's going to uncap my resistances as soon as I die. Or as soon as they die, rather. And also, anything that casts Curse of Frailty will also shred my resistances to the point where they're no longer capped. So I will be taking extra damage from that. The boss of Darkvale Gate, which is the castle at the top of this village, he definitely shreds Chaos and Vitality resistances. So you may want to overcap for him. Alright, ordinarily I would just run through this village, not fuss too much about killing everything. However, I need the Seals of Binding. So, unfortunately for you guys, you all have to die. Because the best source of the Chthonic Seals in the game is not actually available to me yet, because I have to beat Darkvale Gate in order to get to the Tomb of Korvac. But that's alright. We'll just keep killing cult members, and if it doesn't drop, it doesn't drop. We can always come back. You will get a guaranteed dynamite here, and there is a treasure trove somewhere in the village every time you come through here. Just remembered as well, something else I should have done. That's alright, I'll do that in a minute. Hopefully. Alright, a lot of lore notes in this area. Definitely recommend reading them. A lot of the lore and the world building in this game is explored through these lore notes. So I'm just going to eat them for the XP, but I've already read them. Treasure trove potentially here. Mine's not there, but it's alright. I'm going to go find it. Zaria's journal here. Treasure trove potentially just here. So this is where mine is. You've also got some loot down here, which you may or may not want to go and collect. I'm going to leave it. But you could go and get that loot. You also have the bathhouse note there. If you don't have your treasure trove yet, it will be in this room. I think it's on this side, but one side or the other of the door. And I'm going to come up here and grab this note because it'll annoy me every time I walk past it if I don't. Okay, we're at the top, and you can tell you're at the top because you can see this desecrated shrine. Don't activate this. I think it was my first ever serious hardcore character death, maybe the second, but it came when I activated this shrine, not knowing that Zaria the Carver was over here. And Zaria is probably the scariest thing in the area. I would say Zaria is by far the highest chance so far in the game of being one-shot out of nowhere. You really, really need high chaos resistance to fight Zaria, and high vitality resistance will help. So let me just show you. I'm going to do something incredibly silly and let her crystals nuke me. So if I just... maybe I killed it. Alright, we'll just have to go with telling, not showing. Those crystals, when they come out, they will start charging up, and after 1, 2, 3 seconds, they will zap you. Both of them if they're still alive, and they do a crazy, crazy amount of chaos damage. If you have maxed out chaos res, you'll be fine. If you come up here with 12% that you happen to pick up from one ring that just happens to have chaos res on it, you will instantly be one shot from full health. So those crystals are the scary part about Zaria. If you can kill Zaria before the crystals come out, or if you have max resistances to chaos, or at least very high, or if you just kill the crystals before they can shoot, you'll be fine. Otherwise, yeah, you're probably going to die. I think everybody dies to Zaria. Okay, another devotion point. Let's chuck that into the toad here. And we're heading into the Darkvale gate. Now, before I continue here, like I said, there was something I need to do, and that is to do with my devotions. We are no longer using axes, and so the Berserker, axes or spears, because it requires axe or spear, the Berserker here, that 4% Fizz res, the Pierce res, the health regen, and that health, none of that's applying anymore, so we need to go and take those points out and put them somewhere a little more valuable. Which for me is going to be the toad. So there's the toad. What do we got for purple now? So I could actually drop this and start working on the Chariot of the Dead, or maybe even on Reckless Tempest. Probably I'll go for the Chariot of the Dead. I should be able to just rip those points straight out, actually. Never mind, don't have enough Aether Crystals. One place you can go to get a lot of Aether Crystals in a hurry, and do keep in mind this is incredibly dangerous, but you can come over here and into the mine. So there's a mine over here. It's full of Aether Fire. The floor is quite literally glowing green. So you will take a lot of damage in there, but as long as you know where you're going, what you're doing, that sort of thing, you should be fine. And one of the other things, or the reason you come here, is there are a lot of Aether Crystals. So what's that, 3, 4, 5 Aether Crystals already. And there are a few places you can stop. So this little hut here, there's no Aether Fire on the floor here. You can heal back up to full, you can wait for cooldown on your potion. You can wait for the cooldown on the tortoise if you happen to have that so far. And then you come over here. And we can spin to win through this little section. Again, you get on the wood. The wood doesn't hurt. And I should not be doing this, but I really want to kill him. There's a couple more over this way. Again, wood area, nice and safe. Inside this house would also be nice and safe. And then let's head on down here. There's more crystals. More crystals, more better. Guaranteed dynamite. That dynamite will always be there, so if you need a dynamite, don't come here. Go get them somewhere safer. But if you're coming through, do make sure to get the dynamite. Alright. A little bit low there. That's fine. We'll keep going. Did I leave any Aether crystals on the floor? I think I did, but I may have auto-picked them up. And then down this little section here, you're going to have, obviously, this one. Another one there. But you have Venarius the Backbreaker. Don't stand in the green and waffle. You have Venarius over there. He hits kind of hard, especially if your Aether resistance isn't maxed out. You may want to just accept that you're not going to get this Aether crystal. Or you could be me and decide that you're going to get that Aether crystal and death is not scary. Also, another dynamite up here, that's always there. Let's just see if we can kill him. Aether res is not super high, but I do have a decent amount of health. There's the Sunder. Where's the follow-up damage? Well, he kind of doesn't have any. There we go. Alright. So he's dead. And now I can come back and finish looting the place. But, more importantly, I've got the Aether crystals that I needed to take those points out of... Hang on a second. Yes, I do actually want to take those points out. I was just checking the plan I made at the start of the episode. I was toying with keeping the empty throne, and that's one of the things you can get if you decide that you don't want the lightning bolt. So if you decide you don't want this one, you don't need the extra damage, maybe you take this instead. For now, I'm going to reclaim those points. And we are going to go, if I can ever get this moving, we're going to go back up here and realize that I actually needed those to get this. Alright, we had 1 point in purple. And what do we got? Offensive ability, slow resistance, or vitality. I'm going to go for the proc first. I want to get this online as soon as I can. Are there any points I could take out of elsewhere to get this? I could take the fox back. Then I would have to put a point in Crossroads, so I would actually get 3 points. I could have this right now. I think I'm going to do that. Losing the fox means I lose 6% lifesteal, which is not great. Go down to 8%. You know what? I'm going to do it. Where am I? So I need 1 more point here, so I actually need to waste crystals. That's fine. Didn't want those crystals anyway. Why can't I take this out? The Widow and the Rowan's Crown needs... Okay. Well, it looks like I'm not doing that then. Let's go ahead and take back the green. Should be this one. We'll just do it the slow way. That's fine. Keeping the fox is probably a good idea anyway. Getting Chariot online faster means it levels up faster, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have it right this very second. Okay, I think we've got time for Darkvale Gate, so let's jump in there. And for this area, you really, really want Chaos Resistance as much as you can get your hands on. Same with Vitality. Now, I did just lose a whole bunch of Chaos Resistance here, well, 10%. And 10% Aether as well, so having the empty throne, not the worst idea. How much room have we got? Alright. Let's just take a quick stop here. I do want to get my hands on some more resistance potions anyway. So we'll go and check Zaria. What have you got? actually nothing I want, so that's fine. And please buy my stuff. I've only got 2 of these now, so I need 2 more. But there's some quests we can turn in here. We can talk to Captain Soma, who will tell us to go and kill the guy we're about to go kill. Let's actually keep those on me. We've done the mill, so we can turn this one in. It's level 41. Totally meant to spend those points and then didn't. Alright, and we've got the dog tags as well. So quest journal's a little more clean now. And, oh, I wanted to go to the bank here. I want to get these 2. And I'm not going to use them yet. So the reason I want these is the boss of Darkvale Gate. Thal'Nosh, or Karoz, as he's otherwise known as. And he's going to do a lot of chaos and a lot of vitality damage. So I want to be able to take care of him. I want over-capped resistances if I can get it, but at least I want capped. Okay, and the other thing with those points being spent in the Wind Devils here, which you didn't see anything. This is going to start shredding elemental resistances, so we're going to be doing even more damage. So both of our pets now shred elemental, which if I could get another couple of levels into that would be great. But otherwise, it's fine. We'll get more levels as we level up. Yep, blood for Chthon. That's fine. Okay, up here there is a guaranteed dynamite in this little section here. Whether you go and get it kind of depends on how far out of your way you have to go. Now, I got the perfect run for actually just picking it up. But the walls or the doors are blocked in different places on different run-throughs, so you might not be able to do that. Also note that I just picked up another Seal of Binding, so I need 1 more. You've got a glowy thing, so you've got a chance to drop it for me. Fortunately, it didn't happen. Okay, we've found the door here, but there's one stop I want to make first. And this is entirely silly. This is actually a waste of time, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's technically not a waste of time. There's a pretty good chance that I'll get another Seal of Binding here. But the reason I'm coming over here is the loot inside the walls. Which, I mean, again, very, very, very unlikely to actually have something good. But you get nothing from every treasure chest you don't open. And the hidden spoils can have some good stuff in them. Alright, I think everybody's pretty much dead there. There's also hidden loot in the walls over here. So, go in here. A couple of chests in this little cave here. We've picked up the Mark of Anguish Lies, which I am not going to use. But I will sell it. Okay, I also see that, that totem over there. I'm going to do that, and there is more loot in the walls here, which obviously I want. I'm going to turn loot off, and I'm going to pop this shrine. Okay, I see this guy here with the purple circle with a line through it. He needs to die as soon as possible. And then obviously all of his friends need to die as well. Surprised there's no perdition drops here, but getting a couple pieces of perdition would be good. Perdition set has crazy amounts of armor and bonuses to armor. So getting 2 pieces while you're leveling is definitely not a bad thing. The loot in the walls I was talking about is just over here. So we can go and grab this loot in the walls. And then, would you believe it, there's actually more loot in the walls. On the other side of the bridge. So at this point, I'm going to drink these potions. I want to use them at least a little bit before we get to Kairos, and they have a decent duration, so we can make use of that. Okay, loot in the walls once again over here. Go through here, we've got this body, and under this little overpass, hiding, we have another little stash there. Now, Death Ward, Necromancer with a Circuit Breaker on it is not horrible. But I think otherwise we are good to go. Alright, while I'm doing this last little bit of fighting, Kairos is another one of the bosses, or Thal'Nosh rather, who is going to be spawned when we kill Kairos. Is another one of the bosses that is actually quite scary. So he does a lot of chaos damage, he does a lot of vitality damage, and it can be quite spiky damage as well. So if you see him put crystals down, either kill them or run, and he is going to shred your resistances. Now Kairos here is kind of whatever. You can see he's got the Bloodsworn Curse here. This curse saps your willingness to fight off the corrupting powers of the void, reduces resistances, regeneration, and offensive ability. So, won't show me my my crit chance here, but I bet it's less than 10% now. Also, he has uncapped my vitality resistance in spite of the fact that I drank a vitality potion, although it seems like I don't have that effect. So, I don't know where my potion buff went. Wait, yes I do. You only get one potion now. So anyway, we are a little bit weak to vitality at the moment. Alright, here comes the actual boss. And I want to be pre-spinning on this guy. And I want to have my pet attack button. I want all of my pets attacking Thal'Nosh. He's gonna maybe put some tentacles on the floor. I kind of don't care about the tentacles, I'm worried about the crystals. And the goop on the floor, you definitely don't want to stand in that gloating. Haha, I killed you, and oh no, I'm dead now. Yeah, don't do that. I mean, I would never do that again. Alright. Bloodsworn and Signets, if you are interested in pets, or if you're doing some sort of elemental build with an Arcanist, these can be good. Just looking at this ring here, this is still actually quite good. I'm going to swap that instead of the Slith Primal Ring. So I just gained, or I lost 12% elemental, but I'm still 52% over, 54% over, so I don't care about that. I gained 4% poison, which puts me over the cap again. And I lost 1% vitality, but it's really not a big deal. And in exchange, I gained attack speed, I gained some spirit, some health, good stuff. +3 to Emboldening Presence. I'm not going to have that because I'm not taking the Briarthorn, but that ring swap was kind of a side grade, but I think it was worth it. Okay, don't forget to leave and grab the Rift Gate, because if you don't, you're going to have to run through the entire castle again, and nobody wants to do that. So let's head down here. And actually, what is my Chaos Res? 22. Yeah, I sort of needed both of those potions, didn't I? Yeah, 77. Shredded down way below that. Okay, got this. In terms of quests to do, we have, over here, we have the Broken Hills. Go get that attribute point. We have a bunch now to turn in Homestead. But I think I'm going to do that in between episodes, and I'm just going to end this episode here. So thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.